This story's title is The Little Owl and the Big Tree, a Christmas story. Written by Jonah Winter, illustrated by Janet Winter. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. There once was an owl who lived in a tree. The owl didn't have a name, and of course she didn't. She was a wild animal. Specifically, she was a northern saw-whet owl, the tiniest owl in the eastern US. She was so tiny, in fact, it's doubtful anyone knew she existed. She slept all day in a hole in the tree and hunted at night. She was alone. She was peaceful. Then, one day, everything changed. She was woken from her slumber by the sound of voices and power tools. Suddenly, her tree began to move, creaking and shaking. Now the tree was falling down. It was loaded onto a truck and driven away with the owl inside her little hole inside the big bundled tree. The noise of the truck on the highway was unlike anything this owl had ever heard. Hours went by with the rumbling and the noise and the motion. At last, the motion stopped. The noise had changed. Strange and new. Honking horns, people shouting, music blaring. The owl was still in her hole, wondering what in the world was going on. Once again, there were voices up close, and just like that, the wrapping was being removed. Finally, the owl came out of her hole, only to find herself face to face with a man. The two of them stared at each other for a while, and when the man realized the owl was not flying away, he reached over and held the owl in his hand. And still, the owl didn't fly away. She was tired and hungry. She hadn't eaten in days. The man found a box and placed the owl inside it, along with some pine twigs. And still the owl didn't fly away. And she didn't fly away when she was taken in a car by the kind man's wife to a wildlife rescue center. At the wildlife center, the owl looked up from her box to see a woman looking down at her. The woman fed her and gave her water and made sure she wasn't hurt. The woman left her alone in a room with some mice, the owl's favorite food. She was a wild animal after all and had to get used to feeding herself again. Meanwhile, her old home, the tree, was now the Christmas tree in New York City Rockefeller Center, and she, the tiny owl, was famous. She now had a name, Rockefeller. She didn't know anything about that though. She knew about being an owl, and when she had regained her strength, she was released near the Wildlife Rescue Center. It wasn't her old home, but at least she was back in the wild, back in the trees, somewhere out there under the stars. The end. Thanks for watching. For more exciting read aloud stories, please subscribe to our channel Little Hearts Super Kids. Also follow us on Instagram for amazing updates.